But up first, America, America, what are you thinking? I need y'all to make some things make sense to me right now. I have some data I want to start with. Let's start with past due balances on utility bills. So your heating bills, your electric bills, your water bills, these are up just under 10% or $789 since last year. Now, these are not your monthly bill. This is what's past due, things that Americans have not paid yet. A 12% jump in energy bills over the same time period, 2024 to 2025. Grocery prices are up just under 3% since last year. And on Facebook, Jim was finding these for me over the weekend. People posting now that their healthcare insurance premiums are available for them to look at as they're enrolling for healthcare for 2026. Some before and afters. So there was one person that posted that their current premium was $300 for a family. It's going to be $1,600 starting in January. One person posting their premium was $244, going up to $800. And one person posting that their family currently pays just over $1,000 per month in health insurance, and it is going to go up to $2,300 in 2026. So there's that. All right. And then, I take a look at, I keep track of some polling here, and I see that the presidential job approval, Trump is only at 36% right now of Americans overall approve of how the Trump administration is working. 67% of Americans do not like how Trump is handling the economy. Just under 60% don't like how he's handling immigration. And 63% don't like how he's handling trade. You break that down by race, ethnicity, 50%, only 50% of white folks find him unfavorable right now. 66% of Black, African American, and African folks don't like him. 65% of Hispanic, Latino voters do not like him. Okay, so I also, the country's direction. Okay. And this polling is legit polling. I'm often a critic here on the show of polling, like who is doing the polling, sample sizes, how long they were doing it, registered voters, likely voters. You've heard me talk about that. This is the Associated Press and the NORC Center for Public Affairs Research. They've been doing this for a while now. So going back to 2011, this partnership has been going on. This is a gold standard polling on a regular basis. Highly recommend. You can just go to apnews.com/project/polling-tracker. You can see all the data here that I'm talking about. Country's direction. 69% of Americans, U.S. adults, say the country is headed in the wrong direction. When I look at all of this, those data points about cost and affordability, when I look at these tracking numbers of the president's performance and U.S. adults and where the country is headed, their state of the economy, 68% say, no, the economy, not so hot. Don't like it. Don't like what we're doing here. I see the election results from November 5th, and I'm like, oh, yeah, Democrats swept the board on campaigns of the economy and affordability from, blue New York, all the way to, into Georgia and Mississippi, where they were flipping seats. But then here comes along another poll. This is from the American Communities Project. And also involved with Ipsos. So these are gold standard folks doing polling here. And even though I just cited all of those data points to you, here is what folks are thinking about the future. Okay, so this is percent of U.S. adults who say they are hopeful about the future of the U.S. over the next few years and where they live. Folks who live in working class country, their hope for the future has gone up from 49% optimism in 2024 to 61% optimism. Folks living in rural middle America in 2024, 43% of them said that they were hopeful about the future of the US over the next 4 years. Now it's 59%. Folks living in aging farmlands last year, only 48% of them hopeful about the future of America. Now it's 67%. I need someone to help me make sense of what's happening here. Jim, your thoughts?
When was that last poll conducted? Because
It just came out.
It just came out.
Yeah.
But I mean, when was the poll conducted?
Literally today, AP News was reporting on it.
Okay. Well, because I think it's in a state of flux, I feel. Let's remember that because the propagandists on the right have control of stranglehold on much of the media, people are not hearing true facts. We're not getting true facts on employment numbers anymore. We're not getting true facts on unemployment numbers anymore. We're not getting any objectivity there. So if they're being fed a bill of goods by Farce News or Newsmax or whoever, that accounts for part of it, I think. There is a kind of optimism that is hard to understand, that people that aren't as educated about things like the environment, if you really studied what's happening with the environment and knew the facts, you would be mortified. You'd be moving to the top of a mountain. And so I feel like it's explained by ignorance, or it's explained by not wanting to know the truth, not wanting to acknowledge it. But when I go into the store, I find food prices are unbelievably high. I find restaurant prices are unbelievably high. I find gasoline prices unbelievably high. So I always take my own measure in addition to any poll I'm reading about. So I'm in disagreement with the poll that says I'm optimistic about the future.
Well, just because you are. This is data.
Oh, I know, but everybody has to do the same thing. They have to read that poll and say 69% of people are optimistic and decide whether you think that makes any sense or not. Not whether you want it to be true, but does it, in your bones, do you feel like that's true? I don't, and I don't know where that comes from.
Here's a quote from the AP News story covering this particular poll. I'm just going to read from the AP News story here. The $15 price tag on a variety pack of Halloween candy at the Kroger supermarket last month struck Carl Gruber. Disabled and receiving food federal aid, the 42-year-old from Newark, Ohio, has hardly been oblivious to lingering high supermarket prices. But Gruber, whose wife also is unable to work, is hopeful about the nation's future.
Huh.
Primarily in the belief that prices will moderate, as Trump suggests. Quote, right now, the president is trying to get companies who move their businesses out of the country to move them back. So maybe we'll start to see prices come down.
Well, see there, you're right there. You've said it. That description, bringing manufacturing back to the United States, which I want to have happen too, will double the cost of goods. The reason it's being done in the Philippines is because we're paying people starvation wages to keep our products cheap so that Hershey can make a huge 25% profit. So bring the manufacturing back here, which I want, and it'll double the cost of any manufactured good, easily double it.
I need to understand how Americans, 69% of them, in a gold standard poll, can say the country is headed in the wrong direction. And folks who are living in evangelical hubs, aging farmlands, working class countries, exurbs, rural middle America, middle suburbs, Latter-day Saint enclaves, and military posts all feel very hopeful about the Trump administration and what he's going to do. And these gains are not in single digits. We're talking double digits.
Propaganda is a beautiful thing, I guess.
But how can those
for a while?
I mean, two things can be true, but how can those two things be true? How can you simultaneously, the majority of America, say, no, the country's headed in the right direction, wrong direction. And at the same time, you've got all of these folks here who are, rural middle America, 43% to 59%.
They were taught to believe. Now, you're going to get me on one of my soapboxes, which is Religious people are taught, don't think for yourself, don't judge for yourself, do what you're told, do what we tell you to think. And the same people are being told it was all Biden's fault. These people don't understand the economy. They don't understand the cost of labor. They don't understand how any of this works. They just hope somebody's going to fix it for them. But frankly, there's no president that can fix the cost of goods unless you take away the profit percentage. And that's going to be a really tough game for anybody to beat, but that's what we've got to do. 3% rather than 25%.
I don't understand this electorate
I just
anymore.
explained it to you.
I don't understand. That's not a sufficient explanation, unfortunately. But we got to take a break here. Before we do, if you like what we're doing, you need to head over to our YouTube channel. We've got a whole democracy playlist. We've got our coverage from Texas and Chicago going on there, author interviews. Go to youtube.com/@thegailey show to check out everything we're doing there and subscribe. You're listening to The Gailey Show. We'll be right back after this quick break.